Eastside, you see how we do it?
It was so...
We make it easy.
In Grandmont Rosedale.
Yeah.
And
you know that Detroit is on its way up. We're glad to be a part of that. We're glad for our families to be a part of this story.
After a year, found it to be just a wonderful community where I knew more neighbors than any place we've ever lived.
I don't know if I would have done this anywhere else. How cool is that?
I'm looking forward to things going smooth. No flat tires, no dogs running out, and nobody like, I'm tired, because it's going to be an easy pace. And we going to hear some stories, hopefully from some grandma. You know, the old people got the good stories.
I want people to be consumers in our neighborhood. I'm tired of people coming into our neighborhood and making us consumers. And so it's important that we develop relationships and Grosse Pointe see the value that we bring, the value that will pull them across to become consumers and become neighbors, and not have these episodic and transactional relationships.
Eastside Community Network is a 32-year-old community development corporation that focuses on the sustainable revitalization of Detroit's Lower East Side through systemic change, facilitation, and education. In any given arena, in any given project, what we like to do is put residents in the driver's seat on projects in their neighborhood planning. We want to also uplift the native human stories of the neighborhoods that we serve.
We're really looking forward to like hearing like a different theme. So, you know, for Core City, it was about, you know, the people, right? In the Southwest, it was about resistance. And then I think really next week, I think we're gonna be hearing about like love and like neighborhood and, you know, looking out for the person across the street.
Now, wife of one,
Core City.
and
Asking if I can bring this type of bike ride to their neighborhood. And so I applied for the Night Cities Challenge and I won. It was a $30,000 grant to host in different parts of Detroit. So this is the second one this summer. It's the third all around. We did it in Southwest Detroit a few weeks ago. So the bike ride will depart from MASH Detroit, which is on Mac.
The whole notion of MASH Detroit was really to create a destination hub of organic social collision in a neighborhood that brings neighborhood enrichment, residential connections, cross-border connectivity between Detroit and Grosse Pointe, but more than anything, bringing the quality, the energy, and the talent that you normally would see in a downtown and midtown to a community that's really embedded in Detroit's history. For me, the opportunity for us to be a part of something that really engages people and meets them where they are, and the fact that Quite literally, right? So it was important to have Orlando and ECN at the table to kind of help us, again, develop those relationships that we desperately want with the community. We don't want to create this cool thing in a community where they don't feel like it's intentionally something that they can walk into and feel equally as comfortable. You saw a little bit of that in downtown and midtown where people aren't sure, is this for us? Because, oh, this doesn't look familiar. This looks like something that should be in Birmingham.
Having an old white dude like myself, I don't know if this is relevant or even important, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if my story's all that interesting.
I think it's a great mixture.
I was about to say.
Because you've been here 6 years, you are now, this is your community, it's your community too.
That's correct.
And I think it's powerful when
from day one. I love it.
Neighbors put their arms around new neighbors.
I could live in Birmingham in a very expensive house, and I would never know my neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be right here. You'll see about 50 bikes.
I'll be here.
Yeah, all right.
I just got one too.
Okay, cool.
give them a flyer anyway. So we're hosting this event that's happening a couple of Saturdays from now, and it's a bike ride that includes stops where residents tell their stories from their front porches. And it's a community event as we're going to launch right across the street at MASH.
Okay, I haven't seen the door. Okay,
Letter?
Yeah.
Put that up.
Put that up. Right there at 3 o'clock?
Yep, 3 o'clock.
All right.
You will have music and food and everything. I need storytellers. So
Okay.
you could go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe.
So that's so. I was literally about to email her.
Okay, so
Like
you-
actually trying to email her. So I need a storyteller. So
Okay.
I created this bike ride. It's a bike ride that includes stops where residents of this neighborhood use their front porch as a station to tell their story.
Oh, okay.
So it's a stoop to stoop storytelling bike ride.
Oh.
And we're launching from MASH Detroit.
Okay.
And so basically we need storytellers from the Cornerstone,
Morningside.
Morningside, or even East English.
Right, right.
We need 2.
You only need 2?
We only need 2.
Oh, that's easy.
I was typing in my email address bar. It's Sandra Cobb. I couldn't find it. I'm like, dang, man. Like literally like, it was like 20 minutes ago.
Beautiful.
Today we came to the Eastside Community Network building, invited by Orlando Bailey, holding it down on the east side, and we basically came together and we talked about how to basically tell a really good story in a concise way.
So I'd like to think about your story and what's that way. Give me a little bit of context of who you are. Give me a little bit of context around what was a conflict that you experienced, or what was a question that you grappled with, and then how did you kind of answer this question, or what was that? I'm sorry. What was that point that made you like really engage with that question, and then what was the resolution? Okay, so kind of exactly how this moment is structured.
I am always looking for ways to boost the East Side. It's my home, it's where I'm from. The people here are very passionate about their neighborhoods and they're innovative. I mean, we've had every reason to quit and give up, but we don't.
Sharita, please give her a hand, y'all. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you all so much for coming by to visit. We got married, we started our family over here. We're raising 4 sons, and those same sort of age-old challenges began to creep up on us as we're thinking about wanting to give our kids the best opportunities. We have been here just a few months when our oldest son was playing in the back of the house and he had a gun put on him. So of course my husband goes looking for the kid, couldn't find him, and then later on that day we were in a neighborhood store and he happened upon the young man and had a conversation with him. It's like, you know, hey, we're here, we love you, we'll do anything for you, but don't be putting a gun on my kid. We know we made the right choice for us. We know that Detroit is on its way up. We're glad to be a part of that. We're glad for our families to be a part of this story. And thank you all for wanting to come out and experience the neighborhood, experience the community. And thanks for stopping by to visit my home.
So we'll depart from MASH Detroit at 3 o'clock.
We moved from Grosse Pointe Park, where we raised our children, to East English Village in 1992. We decided to rent for a year, and then after a year found it to be just a wonderful community where I knew more neighbors than any place we've ever lived, and so we decided to purchase the home. So we've lived here for almost 24 years. My husband and I are so happy that we are still around. We have been big proponents of the city forever. It's just a terrific neighborhood. On the day after the move-in, there was a soft tap at the door. I looked out and there was this little lady, elderly, just tiny, wearing a big floppy hat, garden style, and Himalayan print flowing pants, and a long white braid down her back. She introduced herself as Catherine Max, known to all as Katie, and she indicated that she was our next door neighbor and welcomed us to the neighborhood. The second summer that we were here, we were out in the backyard talking, and she pointed to this spindly twig growing between the hedges. and said, "What do you think? Do we pull it out or do we let it go and grow?" I just sort of looked and shook my head, and she said, it's an oak tree, probably the result of a squirrel that planted an acorn there. And she warned me that it could get to be quite tall. Well, I had no shade on my side of the yard, so I said, "Oh, let's let it go." Never did I anticipate that this little tiny acorn would grow to be more than 50 feet tall, and that is the tree that is the result of our friendly squirrel. On September 3rd, 2011, the day after my birthday, Catherine Max passed from this world. Her legacy, that giant oak tree that continues to grace our yard, and her indelible footprints that still remain in my heart. Thank you.
Kind of use this as a way to get us to understand your love of animals.
Well, I wanted to share my experience on why and how I moved onto the block and inspire people like to move back to the east side so people think the east side is a bad place. I plan to share like how our area is a nice welcoming place and what we do, and like how our block club is like one big family. I hope sharing my story spread the loves on the east side.
I know y'all tired. Y'all not tired? Y'all sure? So I'm Damien. I lived here for 7 years with my mom and dad, and I'm gonna tell y'all the story about how my dog ran away. My dad and my mom decided to post an ad on Nextdoor. Y'all heard of that? Well, it's this little website where you can post things that you lost, found, or whatever, and people help you find them. So we posted an ad on Nextdoor saying Coco was missing, gave her a description, and somebody commented it and said they saw Coco on Outer Drive in Yorkshire, which is actually down the street that way. So we get back home, and guess who's in the front seat? Coco. All happy and smiling. So Coco, if you're out there, and if you hear me talking, please come home. Because we lost her again. Like, she usually in the backyard, but she's not here. The only one that's here is Roscoe. He usually in his window barking, losing his mind. Do y'all want to beat Roscoe?
Yeah, I do.
I'm just really excited to see this come to fruition. And I'm excited to see you all in my neighborhood. And so I've lived here for the past 3 years. Native Eastsider, have lived on the east side of Detroit my entire life. And I'm really proud to call this neighborhood home, and actually to call this block home.
I usually don't talk about myself a whole lot, but the experience itself is wonderful. What does community mean to me? It means my family, actually. I really didn't mean to get this involved in the community at all. I don't know if I would have done this anywhere else. How cool is that? Well, I'm Glenn Urquhart. I live here with my wife and 2 kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. I took my kids to get out of the city a little bit. We went to a farm about an hour and a half away, and I get a call from my neighbor Sam, and he says, "You've been broken into." My heart just dropped into my stomach. I can't even tell you what that felt like. And English is not his first language, so he kept on saying to me, don't worry, I took care of everything, I gotta go. I just got broken into, and you gotta go? What, so I was a little freaked out, to say the least. And then I got another call from police officer Kevin. He says, "Glenn, don't worry about it. We got your bike back, we got your stuff." And then my other neighbor back here calls me, the last one. "Don't worry, I already sent my son up to Home Depot. They're boarding up your building as we speak." I mean, have you ever heard of such a thing? I mean, my neighbors around here are great. We need more exposure over here. We got good people, and that's just one example of my neighbors. There are tons of other stories that I could go into, but Cornetta told me I only have 5 minutes, so.